If you don't use the Asili analysis, you could say, well, that's because Constantine suddenly became this religious person and discovered the Christian God. Okay, you could say that. But then you would not be giving an ideological analysis, a political analysis, and you wouldn't be using the Asili concept. So, of course, what I do is to use the Asili concept, and it becomes quite clear. He wanted to rule the world. There was this religion that said there's only one God, and then therefore you could do anything if you're chosen by that God to spread that religion to everybody, and you were really benefiting them. Okay? So that has been used as the argument ever since to do whatever it was that they wanted to do, like enslave African people, because you reduce all infidels to servitude, right? That's what the Pope said. So we take it through that period. Then we look at Gnosticism and how that was non-orthodox, and why was that a threat? You've got to ask yourself, why was that a threat to the formulation of the Christian church? And I'm not going to answer that. You're going to read about that, right? Also very easy to read is the whole, let me see, it's page 151. Let's see what happens there. Oh, no, don't skip over Augustine. Okay, and what I say his role was different from what other people say. He's in there somewhere. 143. Good. Good. So you'll see, I call that political conservatism. So, and what was necessary now. And all of these are stages in which they are solidifying their empire. And by them, I mean Europe. That's what's happening. Europe is developing. And what is his role in that? And missionizing becomes very important here as well. The Crusades, very important. Christianity, oh, this is very interesting. The question of European paganism. What were they doing before they became Christians? And what was the difference between what they were doing then and then what they did after they indeed became Christians? Okay, ask yourself that as you read that text. And then, you know, and we can come back and see what you think. And then, where are we at? Okay, then obviously the techno-social order, which will raise the questions of how the Christian concept of nature and what you're supposed to do to nature and how that facilitates the technical order. But I think I skipped over the images of the other and the enemy that Christianity provides. Very important. Page 153, Christianity, colonialism, and cultural imperialism, heathen, native, and primitive. And then there's another part that talks about ruling and saving. I don't know where it is, but it's in there. It's on page 149. Yes. Proselytization and imperialism. Proselytization is saying the assumption you got the right religion and everybody else, they don't have it. And so what you're supposed to do is to take yours and put it on them, in a sense. Okay? And that I call ruling and saving, because you're supposed to be saving them as you do that. Okay? That clearly expresses the European Asili. And that's what we're talking about here. Then, okay, there's patriarchy in their religion. Then that whole thing that I said about religion and rationality, watch that. We already alluded to that. That's where they go through this whole thing of trying to make their religion seem scientific even. Okay? Why would they need to do that? They need to do that because of the whole mode of objectification and so forth. Then you get this tricky people like Reinhold Niebuhr, who would be considered to be the greatest humanitarian, enlightened scholar and theologian and so forth. But what I'm arguing is that what he does is even more dangerous than the people who would call us heathens. Because what he tries to do is to make an apology for all of the things that have been done in the name of Christianity. But again, in intellectual terms, he does that. So he is considered one of their best minds and also their best people. And what we do is to use an Asili analysis to interpret what he is saying and show it to be the same thing. It's consistent that all of them are saying, that Plato was saying, and what they need to say if they are to fill the Asili. And then the conclusion would be religion and power, and you should read carefully again, page 196 and page 197, and I have everything underlined again. Then chapter 3 begins with a quote about disconnectedness and talks about the aesthetic. The aesthetic again will follow the themes of the Utamawazo that we read about in chapter 1, where you begin with, they try to take the discussion and